So with parallel lines, if you have parallel lines, they're going to show you that they're parallel by putting something like this on there. All right, so putting arrows on there. It may also look like this where they're colored in or whatever, so it's got the extra arrows on there. That tells you that these two lines are parallel. This third line that hits the two parallel lines is called a transversal. Very important that you know that name. The line that cuts the two parallel lines or hits the two parallel lines is called the transversal. When you have two parallel lines and a transversal, how many angles are formed?
Yeah.
So let's number those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't really matter how they're numbered. 5, 6. Oops. 5, 6, 7, 8. Numbered mine all crazy. There's special things that you know about these angles. All right? After break, we'll talk about the names of them and all that stuff. For now, we're just going to mess with knowing which angles are the same, which angles are congruent, and other rules about it. We already know what's true about angle 1 and angle 3.
They're congruent.
Because they're vertical angles, right? What about 2 and 4?
They're congruent.
They're congruent because they're vertical angles. Same thing down here with 5 and 7, 6 and 8. So we already know that. And we also know what's true about angle 1 and angle 2.
They're supplementary.
Supplementary. They're linear pairs, so they add up to 180. Same thing for a whole bunch of other ones, right? So we know all that information already. If these two lines are parallel, which again these arrows tell you, then what's going to happen? If we take this line, the parallel line, and smash it on top of this line, all the angles that match up have to be congruent, right? So angle 1 has to be congruent to which angle down here? Does everybody see how she got that? You're just smashing it together, not folding it, smashing it. All right? So angle 1's congruent to angle 5. How about angle 2? To angle 8?
Yeah.
How about angle 4?
6.
And how about angle 3?
7.
So we know if those lines are parallel, all those things are true. Other things that we know. Angle 4 and angle 8, you see how they make a Z? They have to be congruent also. So angle 4 has to be congruent to angle 8. Anytime you can draw it, trace parallel line, transversal in a parallel line, and it forms a Z, those angles are going to be congruent. What's another pair of angles then that's going to be congruent from that same?
2 and 5.
Close.
2 and 6. And 6.
Close. 3 and 5. So angle 3 and angle 5 are also congruent. Does everybody see how if I trace angle 3 here and I trace angle 5, it sort of forms a Z?
Yeah.
So those are congruent also. And one last thing, I got sort of crazy there, got rid of my 4. If the angles are these two angles or these two angles, so angle 4 and angle 5, they have to be supplementary to each other. So 4 is supplementary to 5, and guess what's true about angle 3 and angle 8? They're supplementary also. And again, after break, we're gonna go over a whole bunch of stuff with this, but just to give you the basic ideas now, because these problems aren't difficult, and I don't want to take them off the test because they, several points, easy points. So this only works if the lines are parallel, then we know all this information. So let's make up a number here. If I tell you that these two lines are parallel to each other, this is our transversal. Give me an angle measure. What is it? 45? So if we make this angle right here 45 degrees. All right? The rest of these on the test, this is the way it'll look. You'll know one of the angles. The rest of them will be filled in with numbers. So how many points is this going to be worth on the test?
8.
Not 8.
Or 7.
7, because I already gave you 1, right? So 7 points. Let's just find each one. What's the measure? I'm just going to write them up here. Angle 2, measure of angle 3, measure of angle 4, measure of angle 5, measure of angle 6, measure of angle 7. We want to find each one.
I already did this one.
Somebody tell me one of the angles that you know.
2.
Angle 2, what is it?
45.
45. So this angle has to be 45 degrees because these two are vertical angles, right? Give me another one that you know.
7 is also 45.
7 is 45. If we smash these down, 2 and 7 are going to match up, right? So angle 7 has to be 45 degrees.
3.
Angle 3.
45.
Is it 45?
No, it's not.
What do we know about angle 2 and angle 3?
They're a linear pair.
They're a linear pair, so they add up to
180.
180. So 180 minus 45, what's that give you?
135.
135, so that's angle 3. 135. Angle 7 we knew was 45. I'm just writing it in there.
6 and 4 are 135.
So angle 4 and angle 6 are 135 degrees.
So is 1.
5 is 45.
5 is 45. Everybody agree with that? And, I didn't put, how did I skip angle 1? Why didn't nobody tell me to skip angle
135.
135. So you can find all those angles just from that information.
That'd be the answer.
Yep.
Right.
Well, that is pretty easy.
So works if these two lines are parallel to each other. What's this called again? The other third line?
Transversal.
Transversal. Draw this picture on your paper. Put those arrows on there. Again, sometimes they'll be filled in, sometimes they won't, just depends on it. Sometimes I have 2 arrows, it's just the extra arrows that are on the lines. Little tougher this time. How many angles are formed if I have a picture like this?
16.
So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm not numbering these in any certain order or anything. Now, when you get a picture like this, you got to be careful. Now, I don't care how you do it. I used to make my classes separate them. This line is called a what again? Transversal. What's this line called?
Transversal.
Are these two lines parallel to each other?
No.
So we can't do things with both of them in the picture at the same time. So my suggestion is that you separate off the two parallel lines and separate off one transversal at a time. So draw a picture like that maybe, and then you got your two parallel lines, and then use the other transversal that comes over here like this. So separate them and look at them. Or you're just sort of covering up one of the transversals, right? It's a little easier for you on your paper. You can probably take your finger and do it, right? Cover up one of the transversals. So when we're looking at this, all those rules that we just talked about on the other one work for that set of numbers. And they work for that set of numbers. But you can't mix them together. Does that make sense? So we know angle 1 has to be the same as what angle? 15. And it also has to be the same as angle 4. And 15 has to be the same as 13. But does angle 1 have to be the same as angle 5? No, it doesn't work across it that way. All right? And be careful, because could this picture be turned around some other direction? So you got to make sure you're taking the two parallel lines and one transversal at a time, covering up that part and finding all these angles, then covering up this part and finding all those angles.
Makes sense.
So if I tell you these two are parallel, give me a measure for this angle right here.
34.
Come on, look at the angle.
120.
120.
What? 10.
Now, I have an angle in this first setup over here on the left. I also need an angle over here, otherwise I can't find them all. Right? So let's go with this angle right here. 35. So let's throw some numbers in here. We'll call this angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, angle 5, angle 6, angle 7, angle 8, angle 9, angle 10, angle 11, angle 12, angle 13, angle 14. Again, you got to cover up part of it. So which part do we want to deal with first? What do we want to find first? Left side?
Yeah.
So we're covering all this up. You got none of that. Tell me an angle you know on that left side.
5.
Angle 5, what is it?
120.
So write that in, 120 degrees. Tell me another one.
8.
8, what's it?
120.
120. Tell me another one.
13.
13, what's it?
120.
Tell me another one. What do you know about this angle and angle 1? Add up to 180, they're supplementary, so what's
60.
60? Then what?
9 is 60.
9 is 60.
4 is 60.
4 is 60.
14 is 60.
14 is 60.
Right.
So we now know all of that part. Cover up this part. Tell me an angle you know. Angle 3, what is it?
35.
35.
Angle 6 is 35.
12 is 35. 10 is 145.
2 is also 145. 11 is 145.
7 is 135. Oh, I almost forgot.
Now, if these two lines were parallel to each other, then what would be true about all those corners there? They'd all be the same. But when the two lines aren't parallel to each other, when those two aren't parallel, these two are, then we gotta separate them off that way. All right? Get out your review packet. Find the problems on there. First, find the one that looks like the first thing that we did up there.
Are these going in our notes?
Those can, the just wrote down there. Looks like it's problem 19, is that right? Guess I can't do that, can I? Because I'm drawing different. Let's see. Next. I know this says semester review.
Semester 1, Geo review.
So it looks something like this, right? I'm not drawing it all up there, is that all right?
Yeah.
Those two are parallel. This is 40 degrees. These two are parallel. Stop my pen when you want to tell me the angle. Ready?
Yeah. Oh, wait. Stop.
All right, what's that angle?
40. Stop.
40.
That one's 40 also?
Yeah.
Ignore that.
Stop.
What's that one?
40 degrees.
160.
What's this one?
Well, not 160, 140.
140? It's a drill. Here.
140.
What was that?
I don't know.
Just told you. You guys ask questions.
140. Stop. Stop. 140.
Now, can you fill in all your answers? What are you gonna put for measure of angle 1?
40.
40 degrees. How about angle 2? 140. How about angle 3? 40. How about angle 4?
140.
Angle 5?
140.
Angle 6?
40.
Angle 7?
140.
Can everybody fill all those in?
No, you could. Yes. Awesome. That's where we go.
So pretty easy, right? Nothing really hard about that. If, what has to be true about these two lines?
Parallel.
They're parallel. Again, this is called the
Oh, what?
transversal. Good. Thank you. These two are parallel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now again, I can do it up here, but you can't. The other two are called the what? Transversals. So I can draw it one transversal at a time. All right, we want to draw the top one or the bottom one?
So,
Top. So we got this top one first. This is angle 1, this is angle 2, 3, 4, what's that, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And I guarantee those of you who are going to miss something, this is where you're going to mess up, because you're going to put angle 1, 2, 3, and 4 with 5, 6, and 7 down here. Don't do that, because it's got to be the two parallel lines and a transversal. So on your paper, you might have to cover up one of the transversals to make sure you're dealing with the correct angles. Did they tell us anything about angle 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 12, or 11?
angle 1 is 70 degrees.
So let's write 70 in there. Tell me another angle that we know now.
3.
What's 3? 70. What else?
5.
5. No.
No, Jackson.
Wait.
Jackson.
I just did it. 9.
9?
Yeah.
What's angle 9?
70,
Then what?
11 is 70.
Kendall, are we bothered?
No, I'm just,
Remember?
yeah.
2 is 1. Or
2 is what?
10.
110, everybody agree with that?
The,
What else?
4 is 110. 10 is 110. 12 is 110.
Now we use the other transversal. So it's down here somewhere, right? And what's this, angle 5, angle 6, angle 8, angle 7, ignore that. Angle 13, angle 14, 15, 16. Why won't we erase? Somebody be ready. No, stuff's all messed up. And tell us. Not sure what in the world it's doing. Right double.
That drill was so low.
That one drill was something I did.
Right, Minecraft. Angle 14 is 105.
So they told us the angle 14 is 105?
Yes.
Let's see if I can do this. These are two parallel, right?
Yeah.
And they said angle 14 is 105 degrees.
Yeah.
Now, we already got all this stuff up here, right? So we're not gonna mess with that. Tell me to stop when I get to an angle you wanna tell me.
Stop. Oh, no, not yet.
Stop.
How much is it?
105.
Stop.
How much is it?
105.
Um,
Stop. 105.
75.
75, everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Stop.
Stop.
75.
Stop.
Stop. 75.
The last one?
Stop. 75.
Now, can you fill all those in?
I thought
Yeah.
we can.
Sorry, I got screwed up. Make sure you fill them in on the blanks, and make sure you fill them in correctly. So let's just run down through them real quick. What's measure of angle 2?
110.
Angle 3?
70.
Angle 4?
110.
Angle 5?
75.
Angle 6?
105.
Angle 7?
75.
Angle 8?
105.
Angle 9?
70.
Angle 10?
110.
11?
70.
12?
110.
Oh, I got two different answers.
110.
It's 110.
12 is 110? 13?
75.
15?
75.
16?
105.
Got two different answers.
105.
Yeah,
105? Now, why no 14 in there?
Because it was already in.
They told us, and how come no number 1?
Because they already told us.
They already told us. So make sure you can do that